All right, good morning, folks. Happy Saturday to everybody. Glad that y'all are here on this rainy and overcast but warm Saturday morning. Uh, Looking through the chat here, some of you guys have been having the same kind of weather. Let's see here. Dana Reed, good morning. Thank you for getting the lights turned on. Rune International, hot on her heels. And in third place, G Key Man 565. Let's see here. Who else is here? Let's see. Robert Patton, good morning. Dave Adion, happy Saturday to you in our home state. I keep forgetting that you live in North Carolina. Um, keep forgetting that. So if you're ever down towards Charlotte, let me know. Like, send me an email, hit me up, and say, hey, I'm going to be down that way. Uh, Probably meet up with you or something. Anyway, Kurt O, Lock and Key, good morning. Let's see. See you and hear you. We have audio and video. Awesome. Well, we just about failed with the video because of this one. I had stepped outside for just a second to grab one last thing, came in, and this guy was halfway up the tripod, which is sitting on my safe in front of Splinter. And as soon as the door opened, everything went over. He broke the end. No, don't go that way. Go over here. Broke the end off my charging cable, and yeah, everything came crashing down. Fortunately, my phone was okay. I was able to extract the end of the lightning connector from my phone. So, eh, these kitties have got to find a home. So, Dana and Rune, whenever y'all want to drive over, just let me know. I'll be ready, and you can take your pick of the litter. Yeah, buy one, get one free, actually, or take one and get another one for just as free. I'll be happy either way. Cornelia has been up my hind end all morning. She's actually sitting over there in the chair now, sleepy. But yeah, all the other kitties are doing great. These cats are doing awesome. Out here, they are thriving, but they need homes desperately. Let's see here. Miko Wolf, good morning. Jay, Locks, New York, good morning to you as well. Uh, said a cheeky man. He is being very cheeky this morning. Let's see here. So this week has been a week. Let me tell you. First off, I let's see. Monday wasn't too bad, was it? I don't think Monday was too bad. Maybe. If it was, I blocked it out of my memory. I can't remember what I did Monday. Tuesday was actually really easy. It was like four, I just had four jobs. One of them was like an hour, 10 minutes drive one way. So that was pretty nice. Took me 15 minutes at the most, and that included teaching uh, how to change the combination on a safe keypad. It was a ESL, what was it? ESL 15 I put on there. Anyway, I'd replaced the locks on a safe as a dual safe in one, so you have a top safe and a bottom safe. And I'd done that back in April or May, I think. Um, and it was for a commercial setting, and they needed to have the codes changed. So I went, changed it, and also taught them how to change their codes. Uh, let's see, you could have used hot glue to pull the plug out like a broken key. Yeah, I could have. Fortunately, I was able just to grab it with my fingers. There was enough sticking out. Um, but anyway, the let's see, why am I buffering on my preview? Like on my screen, it's saying that it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Y'all getting any buffering? Because it's on normal latency. I didn't mess with that again. Learned my lesson on that. But anyway, then Wednesday, I was scheduled to be in the shop all day to finish up project. It was actually the same project um, where I had showed a few months ago. Actually did one on live where I pinned up an IC interchangeable core cylinder, and we we just got the cores in because we needed more. We needed probably about, I don't know, like 50 or 60 more than what we had originally estimated from the customer's information. So anyway, I was in there. I get to the shop early Wednesday because for some reason at 3 a.m. I've been waking up and Aloysius has been wide awake and he loves to just walk across me constantly. Not looking to lay down, not looking for anything in particular, just walk back and forth across me while I am laying in bed trying to fall back asleep. So anyway, I got to the shop early Wednesday morning and pinned up all but five of the cylinders uh, before anybody else came in. And I was in the shop basically all day Wednesday and wound up leaving Wednesday and went and did uh, like an emergency rekey like at 15 minutes till 5 I had to go. And then I went and I helped my boss on a job uh, that he was working on installing some architectural hardware, which is a fancy way of saying a big ass door handle, just a bar pull handle on a residential door. And so we did that work, and then I got home later that evening. Let's see, Thursday. What did I do Thursday? Oh yeah, Thursday morning. Thursday I wasn't scheduled for a whole lot. And this kind of leads me into today's subject. But Thursday I wasn't scheduled for a whole lot, but I answered the phone early, and it was a church locally, and we've done work for them before. And the guy said, "Hey, we've got one door. You hold your fob up to it. It's a storefront glass and aluminum door. You hold your fob to the little reader, and then you can hear the thing power to pull the bar in, and then the door doesn't open though. Like you can't pull it open." So I said, "Okay, we'll go out, take a look at it." Thought maybe, you know, maybe something in the electronics had failed. Maybe, the little hook that connects the motor on the electronic drive uh, came disconnected or something. No, 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 no. In safe language, good morning, Anthony. Appreciate you dropping by. Let's see here. Um, so I get there, and it's double doors. One is electrified, one is not. So I prop open the one that's not, and I push on the exit device on the push pad, and I can get the top of the door to move, but the bottom of the door is solid. It is locked. So I take the device off and reach in there, with a screwdriver finger, just try to manually pull that rod up, thinking maybe something's came disconnected. Oh, it had come disconnected all right. So I told the guy, I said, look, I said, let me go run and knock out a couple other jobs and I'll come back with my boss, Jason, and we can, you know, drop the door, get it open, drop the door, and repair what's going on. Well, we get back later, and also after that job, I went to my next one, which was a job, another safe job, which turned out to be user error. Really, really nice older lady though. Um, but when I was grabbing my equipment, I was taking a rubber mallet with me, and on my tool bag there's a loop to throw a hammer or whatever. Threw that in there, and when I did, my finger went straight down on top of a set of wire nippers. Yeah, straight into the side of my finger there. I'm not giving y'all the finger, I'm showing y'all the finger. Um, and I started bleeding like a stuck pig in the back of the truck. So I jumped up, I got a roll of paper towels right there, grabbed one off, wrapped it around, wrapped electrical tape around it, made a shop bandage, and kind of went through the job holding back the tears because it really hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it really hurt, and I have a very high tolerance for pain. And uh, anyway, like I said, that job turned out it was user error to cause the malfunction. Um, so anyway, back to the exit device. I grabbed Jason. We went over there to the church and started messing with it. And it's a good thing that he and I decided to grab lunch real quick before going over there because we were there for 4 freaking hours. 4 hours to do this. And anyway, what had happened was it was a concealed vertical rod. So if you're not familiar with it, that means that there's a rod going up to the top and a rod going down to the bottom with the exit device operating both of them in the middle. And on the bottom rod, it was it's okay, Susie, that scratch. Yeah. Jay, you must talk to my coworker. Yeah. It actually like hit the side of the nail that's down in your skin. Yeah, that sucked. Anyway, so top and bottom, the exit device, it retracts both rods. And there's a latch in the top, a latch in the bottom, and the latch in the top locks in the open position when you push on the bar. Swings open, and then whenever the door closes, it hits that latch, which flips up and grabs onto the strike, thus re-securing the door. Like I said, the top was free. Like when you push on the device, the top's free. You can push it. The bottom would not budge. I mean, we tried for a good 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes with shrum tools and screwdrivers and pry bars and everything else, used airbags to lift the door up to where we could get a pry bar under there. I mean, we had nothing, no clearance on the top. Still could not get the bolt to lift. We could get under it, but could not force that bottom bolt to come up. And so finally, what I did was I took the little panel that holds the weather stripping on the side of the door, on the edge of it, took that off, and about 3 inches up from the bottom of the door, I drilled a 3/8 hole into the side and was able to use my safe scope and a long reach hook tool and grabbed the bottom bolt assembly, which had become completely disconnected. There's the rod and then the bolt assembly, and in the Sargent series, there's a roll pin that holds the two together. Well, that roll pin had come out. We fished that out of the strike in the threshold and saved it because we knew that it came out of something. And so we anyway, we wound up getting the door open, fishing the top rod out, except there was an awning over the door, which means you can only pull up about the top half through the top of the door. So we had to unscrew it using Nipex and turning. So two of us on two ladders up there doing that. Get it disconnected. We wind up dropping the door and removing that last little bit. By dropping the door, I mean we take it off the hinges. It was a continuous hinge on that door, by the way. So that's like Very, very involved. We lay the door over, get everything out, rebuild the entire assembly, put the roll pin back in. We, secured it, actually wrapped electrical tape around it to where that roll pin wouldn't vibrate out because we couldn't get it really smushed in there, secure like that. I mean, it's in there, it's holding, but we used the tape just to make sure it didn't wiggle side to side. And uh, yeah, then we rehung the door. That was a hell of a thing. That was a big thing. Let's see here. Glad to see the finger looks more or less okay now. Yeah, it's okay. It's actually I'm even though it was very, very painful where it is, um, I'm lucky because that doesn't flex. So hit your hand against something, then you really don't have to, don't have to worry about it breaking open again. See, Nate Godden, good morning. Should just turn off gravity in the room. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure, Bryn. But even then, if gravity was off, we could like we still would have had to drop the door and drill the side of it to lift up on it or something. I don't know. That was a mess. Um. So anyway, the next day, yesterday, we had a job that was doing access control, and we get there, and of course, we don't have some of the parts that we need. The wiring behind some of the existing stuff does not match up to what we need. And so basically, all we were able to do is go over to another set of doors to put on surface mount vertical rods. So the door that I was referring to at the church was concealed vertical rods. So the rods are actually inside of the door. Surface mount vertical rods, again, if you're not a locksmith, they actually are on the inside surface of the door. So you can see them coming up and down the uh, from the exit device, the push bar itself. And we had to install those because they were older doors. They were very narrow. They're like 24 inches wide, which does not meet ADA requirements. And they had a center mullion, which is basically a post. If you don't know what a mullion is, goes between the doors. And uh, that's what the exit devices latched onto. They were just dead latch type exit devices. So we had to convert that because they had to remove the mullion in order to meet ADA requirements. And that job was a very custom job. And it was with some of the crappiest hardware we have ever laid hands on. Which brings me to the whole title of this live, which is Exit Device Polls. Uh, Here in the US right now, we're hearing a lot about polls. You get polled, surveyed before the election. See what your intention is to vote. On the day that you go vote, you go to the polls. When you are leaving, you get an exit poll sometimes in some places. I did do my civic duty and I went and I voted today, so that's awesome. Got that out of the way. Let's see. Torch, good morning. Alan Corson, good morning. Brian Edmonston, yeah, you're actually up early. Let's see here. Doubt, James, good morning or good night. Dropping by for a minute. Awesome. Let's see here. The more I learn about locksmithing, the smaller the tiny slice of the pie that is lockpicking gets. Yes, I picked one. Is it one? Maybe two locks this week. That's all I got picked. Even had a lockout where both the deadbolt and the knob were free to turn. Frickin' Titan knob. latch failed in it, which resulted in a lockout, but very well could have resulted in a lock in. Not a good thing. Let's see here. But yeah, locksmithing is, I really think that there is a difference between locksmiths and doorsmiths. Because you have door people, and but they're normally glass people too, because they put in, storefront windows and aluminum frame, and that includes your door and all that good stuff. Um, Locksmiths, you can do just cylinders or just lockouts or, make keys or just automotive, safes. But when you have a shop like ours, we do it, basically what I tell people is if it opens and shuts or takes a key or should take a key or a combination, we work on it. It's true. Um, so yeah, lock picking, the slice of the locksmithing pie that is just locksmithing or lock picking is extremely tiny. An exit device poll. Yes, Anthony, we are doing an exit device poll today. And Jay, yes, locksmithing for sure. Um, James is teaching tomorrow. Awesome. What kind of class are you teaching? Let's see. All right, so I know we've actually taken this exit device apart before, but we're going to do it again today because it reminds me so much of the piece of crap that we installed yesterday. Oh my God. So I want to know, those of you who have installed exit devices, what is your least favorite exit device to install? Like, not just to install, but also like an actual brand. We can actually call names out here. The ones that we did yesterday were General Lock. Now we buy a lot of General Lock product. They're cylinders, um, which the cylinders are okay. Their levers are great. I love their levers. They install great quickly. They're just like uh, the Dexter commercial levers that we install, which are Schlage commercial levers. Um, they go in great. We don't install a lot of Sargent or ASA stuff, but we do, we do replace those things. But generally, the only time we're going to install an ASA product on a door is, excuse me, an ASA brand commercial grade lever. Let me be specific about that. An ASA grade commercial brand lever, we are doing a direct swap out where the customer wants that same thing, or it's unique enough to that door prep uh, to where we would have to modify the door in order to install a different lever, which isn't that often, but we do it. Um, let's see, just a bunch of locksmith elves, same as a maintenance person. Yeah, yeah. Whenever the maintenance guy calls us, says, "Hey, I tried to fix this," it's like, oh God, that's an extra hour of labor. Let's see, non-destructive entry and some cyber hacking to a class of people learning to be security guards, so they know what to look for, and then they can offer a better service. That's pretty good, actually. James, that's funny. I've thought about maybe a few years in the future when I've got some more experience under my belt as a locksmith, actually doing a class similar to that for law enforcement. Um, you don't cover, lock picking and stuff like that in the police academy. You don't learn how to do that there. You learn how to do that when you are working as a cop on night shift. It's 3 a.m., raining and cold. That's when you get on YouTube and you find Bosnian Bill and lockpicking lawyer, and then you go from there. But yeah, that's actually a pretty cool class. Yes, Jay, sergeant prices are insane, for sure. And Corbin Russwin prices are too. Um, but no, the surface vertical rod exit devices that we installed yesterday were the first ones. My boss actually said this. He said, these are the first and last general lock exit devices I will ever buy. And I agreed with him because, I mean, and this is very, very similar to what we had. And I'm going to go ahead and get the camera adjusted. Kitties, I'm not coming to get you. All right. And there. Excuse me. So you can see, this, there's really not a lot of points to secure. This one still has a 3-bolt on it, which, let's try to get that removed. Cornelia, please don't get up. No. What are you doing? I think a fly got in here and she's after it. Do I have some pliers out here? I actually don't have any pliers. What kind of a locksmith am I that doesn't have pliers? Let's see. Let's try to hold this. This is not at all how you should do this, by the way. There we go. But that's what I had, and that's what works. So, so yeah, you can see here. There's, for one, the bolts aren't big enough. Bolt holes aren't big enough for a quarter 20 bolt, which, if you're not familiar with hardware, quarter 20 is quarter-inch diameter and 20 threads per inch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is the correct definition. I'm trying to find quarter 20 bolt somewhere around here. I know I've got some. Anyway, you can't get those through here, so you have to use different ones. We also had to use the existing exterior trim, which were just pull handles or pull plates. Flat plate where it comes out off the door and is kind of curved up. Excuse me, I'm about ready to step on you. Let's see. Yeah, James, hobby to job. That's it. Lowell Forbes, good morning. How's the locksmithing world treating you? I think you're the newest locksmith. I like being able to say that. You're the newest locksmith in the chat. Had to fix an exit device. What did you have to do with it? See, we have frame drops. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I'm seeing that on my preview. I do have a vise. Yes, I could have just clamped it in the vise, but why would I make it easy on myself? So this is like a night latch feature exit device, which basically means this is always here. You don't have to have a key cylinder from the outside for an exit device. If you go to a store, basically any public building, you'll be able to see where you have exit only doors. There are no key cylinders to get in. But if you go on the inside, they all have, exit devices where you can just push and it retracts the latch and it allows you to leave in one motion. The Coconut The Coconut Grove nightclub that was in Boston back in was it the 20s, I believe? I believe it was the 20s. somewhere in the 1920s that had the horrific fire that killed, I think, close to 100 people. They didn't have any type of, way out easy. And so after that is when exit devices really started becoming mandated, and the technology was invented, the hardware was invented then and manufactured. And so that's when it really started catching on. Now, of course, they're part of code, and something to just to know, in case if you don't, if you have an exit device on a door, you can never put anything other than an exit device on that door. So you can't have a deadbolt on the top of it. You can't take this off and then go to a lever, just like ADA requirements, which is Americans with Disabilities Act. Those requirements prevent you from going from a lever to a knob. You can never go backwards. You can only go forwards or maintain what is there. Uh, so anyway, if you're a locksmith, you're going to run into these daily, unless if you do automotive only. Let's see here. Video's back to normal. Okay, cool. The latch that holds in unlock was off somehow. Took it apart, reassembled it to work. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, lol. This is just a no-name uh, type device, but it's a very common. I think. Let's see what you are referring to that you had an issue with is this part, the dogging device. So, dogging devices, when you say dog a cylinder or dog an exit device down, what happens? You can see here on the back, and again, they're all slightly different. When you dog it down is when you want to be able to have free access from the outside. So there are different ways of dogging them down, but most of them are pretty much the same. You push in on the bar, and then you take a little Allen wrench and turn this, and it turns the cam so that the cam on the back of this actually loops under these things right here, the little prongs that come off the back of the bar, loops under that and holds it in place. So you push the bar in, turn your Allen wrench, and the cam holds it to where the latch is retracted. Very, very common in lots of stores. You can see it lots of places, like retail places near closing time will undog the doors. That way it allows access. However, it does not allow entry. Now, of course, somebody opens the door, they're being polite, they hold it open for a person wanting to come in. That can happen. But yeah, the dogging device and dogging devices, like I said, are completely different between brands and designs. Um, some of them are a lot more complex. Some of them are just as simple as this, where it is literally just a cam turn. And let's see, I will show you how this one works in action. You can see I'm holding down on the device. I've turned the cam to where it will hold this down. And if I can get this slid back in the track, cheap ass exit device, then you can see that this is held flat. And yeah, a lot of times these dogging devices will go bad. They get worn out. Probably the most common malfunction that I've seen of them is they get rounded out. People will just torque it constantly, morning when they open the store, evening when they're starting to close, and it just gets rounded out. It's six-sided, Allen wrench. Um, so yeah, let's see. Yeah, yeah. Lowell, this actually does have the Allen or hex key cylinder in there. That's all you use to turn this with. But um, I just don't have my Allens in here. They're in the trunk of the car. So, but yeah, I mean, you just do that and they round out. Tyler Thomas, good morning. What drug you out of bed at this hour? Uh, yeah, this is one of my two wolf shirts. Let's see. So you have the dogging component. We've talked about that. You have the latch component. Now on a surface mount vertical rod. By the way, Tyler, you need to rewind. Okay, Tyler, rewind, and you jinxed me into what I had Thursday because you said it the last time when you and Jeff were live with me. You asked me about dropping a door by myself for an to remove a vertical exit device, vertical rod, concealed vertical rod from a door, um, because it malfunctioned. So just rewind and listen to my story whenever we get done or whatever. Um, yeah, I think you jinxed me. I'm gonna blame you. So most of these exit devices kind of go together the same way. Um, let's see what holds this in place. These screws back here look promising. So we can take them all out and look at the components and how they fail. The night latch version, which is what I have here, we'll look at the head unit. So basically in here, there's just springs to return it. And then you have this latch assembly. So whenever there's pressure pushed down on here, it retracts the latch. In vertical rod assemblies, instead of having a latch right here, you have the components that simultaneously pull down the top latch and lift up the bottom latch. And those are connected by rods that are something like this. Of course, they're going to be a lot longer because they have to be the length of the door and you have to cut them. But basically, you have linkage between here and here. And when you push this, it retracts the rod and thus retracts the latch that the other end of the rod's attached to. When you let go, it stays retracted until you shut the door or the door closes and triggers the latch at the top, and then that shoots back up. The bottom rod is almost always gravity fed, meaning that it's lifted up, and then whenever the top latch is secured, it just drops into place. Well, when the bottom part of it drops, then or the bottom part disconnects, then that's when you have issues. Let's see, let's look. Be kind, rewind. See, then you push it back, drill a hole through the bar, and stick an Allen. Actually, I meant to grab two of the ones that we replaced yesterday with those shitty General Lock surface vertical rods devices. I meant to bring one of the old ones home with me, but I was just so over everything yesterday that I forgot about it. Plus, I didn't have my car there. Maybe I'll bring one in next weekend. Well, no, actually, Dana, I saw in the chat earlier you said that you didn't think you would be able to make it next weekend. That's okay. I will not be live next weekend. I'll actually be at the North Carolina Locksmith Association meeting. We've got training classes, and so I'll be there Friday and Saturday. So here's kind of the housing and how it gets mounted on the door. And you really, unless if you're repairing these, you shouldn't have to take all this apart. But you can see here there are two spring-loaded pivots. You want two so that it's a smooth motion, even pressure across both. And these are held in with roll pins, but you can see there are bushings, plastic bushings in there. Those will get worn out sometimes. Sometimes the springs that are inside of here get worn out, and that kind of leads to floppiness. When it gets to that point, replace it. Just replace it. And depending on the device itself, you may want to recommend to the customer that a different brand is needed. If you're going to have to make extensive modifications to the door to use a different brand, then probably better off just to order the exact same thing that they have and do a direct swap out. Another type of exit device that does concealed vertical rods is something that you hear Jason Meeks talk about somewhat often, and that's the kind that uses the pinion gears. And if I can ever get one out of the wild, then I'll bring it here. But basically, to do the top and bottom rod motions with the key and with the exit device itself, you have like a little pinion gear and a rack gear, and they turn to lift the rods and operate it. Those are kind of a pain too whenever they get worn out. And if you're rekeying, so for rekeying these, I think, I would hope most locksmiths charge more to rekey exit device cylinders, because unless if they are like an IC, interchangeable core cylinder, then most of the time you have to pull the exit device off the door in order to release the cylinder. Because even if it's on, you can have it depends on the exterior trim. And the exterior trim is what you see on the outside. Let me get my camera moved back ultra wide. There we go. Feel like I can explain better this way. So a lot of times on the cheaper exit devices, you basically just have, or I shouldn't say the cheaper ones. On a lot of exit devices, you have a crosshair. This is sitting on top of the inside surface of the door, and you have a rim cylinder that comes through. And do I have a rim cylinder available? Perhaps, maybe, possibly, might happen. Here is a beautiful Baldwin rim cylinder. But you can tell a rim cylinder because there are no threads on the outside of the cylinder. And so what happens is you have the cylinder in the door mounted in the trim at the outside, and then you have the tailpiece that goes through into the crosshair, like so. And then whenever you turn the key in the cylinder, it retracts the latch. To get to these, you see the two little holes in the back of that cylinder right there. You have to pull this exit device off the door because these are held with independent screws. And a lot of times, unless if the locksmith has gone through there and said, if I ever have to rekey this door again, I don't want to have to deal with this. A lot of rim cylinder screws are flathead. They're slotted screws. And it's like, who the hell decided to do that? God, that doesn't make any sense. So, I replace them if I can. If I'm putting a new cylinder in, um, then I always replace them with Phillips head. But if it's just a rekey, a lot of times I won't, unless if I've got extra rim cylinder screws, and normally I try to save those for repairs when I have to. Let's see. Yeah, go through a lot of lost Allen wrenches that way, but it will be cheaper. Yep, chain with a quick spot weld. Rim cylinders with the bolt and the pliers. No, no, I don't keep cylinders in the car. Why would I keep cylinders in the car? Uh, if you need a new cylinder, then I'm not doing it out of my car. The tools in my car are for, friends, family, and those quick little stop jobs on my way home. Since I don't drive the work truck home. But no. So you have to pull this whole thing, and so you imagine you know, you've got this on one side with the head unit, um, like that, and then on this end, the end that's closest to the frame, you've also got a mount. So you have to hold this while you're taking it off, and you literally have to grow three hands and be ambidextrous and hold this while you remove the bolts and then take it off, and then you're able to access the cylinder screws. Um, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. So if you're a locksmith and you're not charging more to rekey exit device cylinders than you do regular, like cylinders out of an Adams right or a lever, you need to start, because it's going to take more time. um, but yeah, so what, out of you locksmiths that are watching, what is your least favorite exit device, like brand or style or whatever? You guys keep wanting me to use the Vice. I'm going to use the Vice. Actually, no. I'm going to use the Vice for something much more important. So go ahead and start telling me in the chat what exit device you hate working on more than anything. There we go. Cup holder. Uh, LPP moonlighting lock and key. Yeah, no, no, I'm not allowed to moonlight. There was actually a discussion about that on Reddit the other day, and I'm like, nope, not allowed to. And everybody else was like, yeah, you shouldn't moonlight. Um, let's see. Sometimes you got to use your hip, and it looks like you're humping the door. Yep. Or when you're drilling the door. God, my boss does the best job of that. I mean, it's like first time I saw him do it, I'm like, um, you do realize that we're at a church, right? um, let's see. Then put one bolt back to hold it up. Yeah, Lowell, that's a good trick to know. Uh, when you get the cylinder out, because normally you have to do that with two hands and hold your exit device up with your third hand. Once you get the cylinder out, run a bolt back through just to sit in that hole. You don't even have to screw it all the way in. Just let it sit in there. And then that way the device will be held on the door. If it's being used constantly, though, then you do want to connect it and make sure that it is operable before you walk away from it, because it's entirely possible that something could happen while you're out there rekeying the 50 cylinders or whatever that you have. All right, so Jay and Tyler both hate working on any concealed vertical rod. Yep, I agree with that. I agree with it. And the devices that I was talking about a second ago with the pinion gears, just to rekey those is a complete pain in the ass. And what you should do when you rekey those before, like normally this is going to have a cover plate over it. You unscrew it, it's screwed in with either 2 or 4 screws, or sometimes 3, but it has 4 screw holes, or might have 4 screw holes and 1 screw, just depending. But once you pull that off and you see the pinion gear in there, take a picture of that. That way you'll know exactly where your gearing is supposed to be, and take a picture of it with the door closed. That way you'll know what position it's supposed to be in when you when it's locked, when it's secured. Um, and then also ask, if you're not sure, it's okay to ask the customer, say, hey, when you guys open these and have them open for the public to come in and out, do you use the little Allen key on the inside to, push in and then you turn that, or do you do something funky with the key on the outside? Because you can dog those down from the outside using the key. Let's see, Jackson 1095. Screw the Jackson 1095. Um, yeah, I really don't like those, but I've never installed one. Like never completely well, I've replaced one. Jason and I replaced one day with an electrified exit device, concealed vertical rod exit device. That sucked. He almost lost the end of his finger that day, and it was like 950,000 degrees outside with at least 733% relative humidity. Um, yeah, well, I don't know, Jay. We're able to keep the pinion gears in stock. I mean, I've got a handful of the actual pinion gears and rack gears in my truck, and we've got like a good box of them, in the shop. And I think we've got some of the top rod latches, because on those the bottom rod is all gravity fed, so there's nothing really in the bottom other than the rod guide. Um, so if your top latch goes bad, you can swap that out. But of course, I don't know. We've not had to order any in a while, like 6 or 8 months. And if you are looking for exit devices, I would highly recommend considering the NSP. I think it's 9500, um, but they're basically a Von Duprin 99 clone. Um, and Von Duprin 99, if you live here in the States, Von Duprin 99 is, when you see that, you're going to say, oh, okay, that's an exit device. That's what is on the door. Um, could Rune, I think you're my only mod that's on today. Rune, could you search and please post a picture, a link to a picture of the Von Duprin 99 exit device, um, and post that up in the chat? I would appreciate it. Because I think you know what I'm talking about. And Rune, if I'm curious, I would like to see uh, kind of, or hear about at least any details of the exit devices that you have over there in Denmark. Um, let's see. Turn down one of those jobs for an electric exit device. They're if they're surface mount, it's not that bad. I mean, anything surface mount vertical rod, other than what we did yesterday, isn't that bad. Um, and I mean, it really, if you're not going to be running the wire, that's even better. Electrified hinges, a hinge power transfer or power transfer hinge, whichever way, that's kind of complicated. I've never installed one of those. The door we did Thursday at the church with the concealed vertical rod that came disconnected, um, that had a power transfer hinge. And but the other devices that we have done have been all surface mount and been actually pretty straightforward. Like we did some uh, that were Adams Right with the star wheel gear. So instead of having this latch, because on a narrow style aluminum storefront door, you're not going to have room for this. Um, for this type of latch to to be able to function. You're just not going to have it. So we got star wheels. So it's like a little wheel with many spokes, and it's kind of, think of it kind of like a turnstile. You go into a stadium or a subway or someplace, and that turnstile clicks one way. It won't let you click back unless if you release it somehow. So when you push on, the push pad on the exit device to go out, it does release that wheel and lets it spin around. The electrified versions of those use that, and there's like a little electric release that allows that wheel to spin. The what? All right, hang on just a second. Let me get this. On Duper 99 images. Hang on just a second. All right. Um, let's see. How do you copied? There. All right. Should be able to click that. Let's see. There's an RFID reader install with all new wiring. Um, yeah, that's still not that bad. But the other thing is this: you need to learn how to do it from somebody who's done it before. Um, I mean, there's standalone readers, and I am planning in the coming months to do a series of lives with access control, because that seems to be probably at least 35% of the jobs that I do these days. Um, and I want to do them with my boss if I can ever talk him into doing it with me. We may even actually record a video somewhere, um, just going over some of the systems and what their features are and kind of basics of access control. I'm going to be taking a couple classes. Well, let's see, next weekend. No, actually, I'll be taking one class. Caesar's actually teaching it. Y'all remember Caesar? I know Dana remembers Caesar. And every time I see Caesar, I'm like, "Hey, did you mail Dana's package yet?" And he's like, "No, but I've got it boxed up, ready to go." I'm like, "Well, give it to me, and I'll send it to her." He's like, "No, I'll get it. I feel bad about that." Anyway, he's teaching an electrified hardware class. But there's a lot of lot of cool stuff you can do with access control exit devices. You can do a rim strike with an exit device, which basically is an electric strike that is designed to hold this latch right here. And then whenever it's released through the access control system, the door will open from the outside, uh, but always be free to exit from the inside. It's not that it can be complicated, but it can also be really simple. It depends on what kind of what the customer wants. Um, there are a lot of standalone systems, like where you don't have to do wiring, and I mean, you have to do some wiring, but you don't have to deal with computers and software and all that good stuff. Um, let's see here. Just went through the Allegiant classes for mechanical and electric exit devices. Have a book out looking at Von Duper 99. Okay, Dana. I appreciate that. I know. I know you still love us. Let's see. Every time you had your place, panic bars, people would come running into them all the time, damage the hell out of them. Only time to replace those when they don't work no more. All cylinders, one key. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, people running into these, they bump into them, they bang into them. Nobody, like literally nobody, just comes up to an exit device and goes, like that. Nobody does that. Let's see if we can put this thing back together. Okay. And that's fastened on the back here. Yeah, I mean, exit devices can both be really simple and really a pain in the ass all at the same time. And I guess the trick is just knowing kind of the characteristics between the different styles. Because you can have like a Von Duper 99 style. You can have a style that's like this. You can have the Jackson CRL style. Let me just get this in here. See, we do not do much in that way. It's normal just to have a thumb turn with a breakaway green plastic cup keeping it from being opened without visible indication. Okay. That's interesting. Um, Let me look here at that link that you posted. Um, yeah, Yale. What? Why you got to show me Yale on the first page? Ugh. Old, like ancient Yale is um okay. All right, so yeah, if you guys actually click on that link that Rune posted and go to page 8, it'll show you a surface vertical rod, kind of what that looks like. So you can see what I was thinking of. And then, yeah, page 9 shows the concealed vertical rod, kind of the components of it. That's kind of interesting with, over there. I'm actually really surprised about that, Rune, that you that over there you guys don't have something like this for an emergency exit. Um, it really does kind of surprise me. Now, a lot of times here in the U.S., for the storefront aluminum and glass storefront doors that have, an Adams Wright style bolt in it, you can have a thumb turn on the inside. A lot of people do have that. And so what you do is in the morning, you unlock it from the outside, come in, turn the thumb turn, lock it back behind you, go turn off the alarm, go about your morning, getting things ready. And then at 8 or 9 a.m., whenever you open, you go back and you turn the thumb turn and it unlocks the door, and people are free to come in and out all day. You have a pull handle on the outside, push bar on the inside, and by push bar, I just mean a solid piece of aluminum attached to the door, so you don't get greasy fingerprints on the glass all day. Uh, so you have that, and you can go in and out wherever. But on any type of metal door or there are glass and aluminum storefront doors that, plenty of them that do have exit devices. But a lot of times, yes, storefront, you would have a thumb turn with, interior thumb turn with exterior key cylinder. Let's see. Yeah, I know Sergeant's in there too. We do not have the same type of doors or lock sets. Yeah, yeah, I realize that, Rune. Um, it's just curious because we have. I guess it's curious to me because we have such stringent codes on emergency egress here, and you guys have you know very stringent standards on preventing entrance. Um, so I guess the contrast is really kind of cool. Um, we here in the U.S. there's no requirements for preventing people to get in, but there's 1.78 metric shit tons of requirements for people getting out. Um, and a lot of that does stem back to the Coconut Grove Club fire in Boston in the 1920s. And which, if you've never heard about that or never seen a documentary on it, there are several out there. I think Modern Marvels had an engineering disasters episode on it, actually. Um, but it's very interesting. Yeah, Ren, I can see that. Now, we do see exit devices on wooden doors. A lot of times, there are um, restaurants that have wooden doors, because wood kind of fits with the motif. We have offices that have wooden doors that are certain doors that are required to have one motion egress. Um, so, like, in basically the way that it's set up in our area, and I think generally speaking for the US, is if you have an illuminated exit sign over a door that is a designated exit, you have to have one motion egress. You don't have to stop, push down on a lever, and then push the door. You have to be able to push into the door and it opens, which goes back to Lowell, to his comments. The no, don't climb the tripod. No, no. Sorry. His comment about they're made to bump into with whatever large object you're carrying. What it's actually engineered for is that you can literally, why they're called crash bars, you can literally crash into it and the door opens. With that way people don't get bound up and trampled and stuck at the door, because if you have a group of 50 people running full speed to get away from whatever disaster is going on, and the first one who gets smushed up against the lever doesn't have the presence of mind to push down on the lever and open the door, you're going to get piled up and stuck. But No, thank you. Let's see here. Let's see. Locking device was magnetic on the top. Oh yeah. No, well, we don't touch mag locks. Um, yeah, we don't do that. And the reason being why we don't do mag locks on doors, generally speaking, mag locks are reliable because if they're working, get down. Thank you. Kittens are going wild right now. Um, so um, Maglocks, a you have to have that emergency release, which means you have to have basically you have to have a motion sensor, um, and or you have to have some sort of release. There are exit devices where when you push in on the exit device, it triggers a signal to the access control system to release the magnet and let you out. Um, that runs into a lot of money, a lot of wiring, and a lot of other issues. So yeah, that's why we don't normally do that. We would do a a rim strike, an electrified rim strike, which again is it's designed to catch this. But when those what you call them, not flippers, but they look like flippers. Anyway, when those are released by the access control system, you can open the door from the outside, but from the inside, you push down on the bar and it retracts the latch, and you're able to leave. Um, so yeah, maglocks. No, kitty. No, 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 no. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Yes, I know you want to be an internet sensation. Uh, yes, you're calling the ever loving shit out of me. Mm-hmm. Come here. What? Are you camera shy now? Okay, just leave my camera alone. Thank you. See, this is why my shop is in shambles. Let's see. Trivia Von Duprin came about from the Iroquois Theater in Chicago. Okay, cool. Iroquois Theater fire. I have to look that up. I love my hobby is 20th century history. 20th 21st century history. Let's see. And we have more places with fewer people, so the doors do not need to be able to open by itself as people pile up against it. That's, yeah. I mean, I've never thought about it that way, Ren. Um, I'd love to see like some examples of, yeah, I guess like that you guys use over there. That's really, really interesting to me. Um, fire is burning my ass. I'm kicking a hole through the wall. Just hope you can kick through that wall. Are you missing end cap and latch cover? Then you have a complete panic bar again for your collection. Yeah, I may have uh, the head unit cover and this, but it's down over there. Um, and I thought whenever I replaced this door, the creaky door, with an actual real door, I've thought about putting an exit device on it just for shits and giggles. And if I do, I would do a whole video on it to show you kind of how I would do it. The thing is that I want it to be access control because I hate keys. I really hate having keys around my house. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, Lowell, that's a good reason to pass on those jobs. Yeah, it looks like a catastrophe. Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah, Miko. Yeah, that's true. I didn't remember that. Yeah, a lot of the exit panic devices were locked on 9/11, and people couldn't get out, and I mean, that's really unfortunate. But hopefully, locksmiths were learning. And sometimes customers just don't understand. Like I've had a customer who wanted a Schlage and code deadbolt installed on a door that had an exit device. I'm like, it's not going to work. You would always have to leave this unlocked and rely on the deadbolt alone for the door to stay locked. Plus, it's not allowed. It's against code for you to put a deadbolt on a door with an exit device. Just can't do it. So anyway, let me try this here real quick. What are you kitties doing? All right. Here's the exit device poll on this election eve Saturday. I'm going to end it here in just a little bit. If you don't know, then just click one. Let's see. I should have added another one. Anyway, yeah. If you don't know, you've never worked on one, just think of something that just didn't work for you. And you can put that under all of them. But we're getting close. God, I've been going almost an hour and a half now. Jeez, who knew if exit devices, if I was interesting about any of this? I really, really do want to hear all the way to people who've been doing this for what would you like to know about? What things have you kind of tinkered with but haven't done anything more of? That sort of thing. So just, text me, email me. Um, a few of you, if you want to be able to text me, send me an email and I'll send you my number, whatever. Just don't, just don't blow me up with like, porn or something. Let's see here. Lowell, I am in North Carolina. And I don't worry, I forget what state you're in. Dana has to remind me what state she's in. I know where Tyler is because I've been to his shop before. Um, let's see. Check your Twitter. Let me check my Twitters. Glad I don't have a blue check. I'd have to start paying for that. Um, Messages. Sent a photo. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Rune, wow. Okay. You're gonna have to do a video on that. I'm making a request. Please, whenever you get time, of course, and have materials or whatever. Um, I would love to see a video on how that is designed to work. It's really, really cool. Let's see. Jay. Okay, Lowell, you're in Iowa. Cool. Um, yeah, I mean, you always need to check your. Arun, if you could do. All right, half of you say all of them. Cheap stuff, 33%. Anything conceal vertical. Because apparently there are technical difficulties, but I really appreciate it. Sorry, I kind of went on a little bit long. I have no clue why the video is glitchy, but I will try to figure that out by next weekend. Or excuse me, weekend after. Not going to be here next weekend. So anyway, y'all stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay out of trouble. We will see you next time. Happy